Hello and welcome everybody to the Round 1 coverage of the 2019 Great Lakes Open presented by Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here by Kevin Jones. We're about to bring you some commentary on the round. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm doing really good, Brian. I'm glad to be here in Milford, Michigan. Ready to watch these guys in round 1.
We have a couple Michigan local boys, and Andrew Marwede and Tim Barham. And then we're joined by some touring players, Adam Hams and Alex Russell. A lot of differing play styles. This should be interesting. And then interesting, last year's drone footage is actually being used. Central Coast was brought in last second to film this event. So hole 1 actually is in a different position than we are flying to. It is 605 feet, a little bit more straight off the tee than this position would be. And it creates kind of a multi-angle shot for the players.
Yeah, this is a 605-foot shot, so these are huge shots. The big mistake that you can make is fading out left, and so you're going to see Barham right here accounting for that, placing a nice solid shot. He'll be looking to save he'll be looking for an easy 3, honestly.
And it looks like Adam is probably going safe forehand. Keep in mind those OB stakes to the left is a big change from last year, and he's actually smoked this thing.
Yeah, now this would be an enormous forehand to get all the way up to the basket, so that's likely just playing for a 3. Trying to get your tournament started out with nothing too crazy, because the worst thing you can do on this hole is take a 4 and be behind.
Russell going with a huge boss forehand, and again, it looks like he is totally fine taking a 3. We did have a tailwind off this tee pad, and we did see a few 2s come from this round.
Yeah, the hole was definitely attackable today. We're seeing a lot of safe plays. These gentlemen are just looking to secure their par and move on in the round. I kind of agree with them. This is definitely a very tough course once you get to the middle of it, so getting behind at the beginning can really cause problems in your round.
Barham safely getting up there, about 10 feet. Russell should follow suit. And yeah, starting off with a big number on this course is not the way you want to get going, and especially with how tough it is to score on some of these, like you said, in the middle stretch. Adam just doing a nice little layup there.
Nothing too special here. Not too many crazy lines towards the basket did we see. Tim Barham with the most aggressive line. He just happened to turn his over a little bit too much. Andrew Marwede going to connect from about 15 feet. Looks like we're going to see all 3s here.
And it's going to be interesting watching this card attack this course. There are a lot of left to right holes, and we have 4 very, very strong sidearms. A couple more finesse sidearms with Andrew Marwede, who loves throwing the flip-up, and Tim Barham that loves throwing flip-ups, and Alex Russell and Adam Hams with more power sidearms. So it's going to be an interesting round. After 4 pars, pretty safe plays from our players, we move on to the hole number 2 that's actually changed a bit this year. No longer a par 5 like it was last year. They've moved the basket up a bit to create a very challenging par 4. What are we trying to do here?
Yeah, so this hole plays really tough. The top echelon of distance players are going to be up there looking for a putt, no doubt. But it takes 2 well-executed shots. First off, you need to get in good position here, whether it's very close to where it starts sloping up or at least on the slope, because otherwise it's just a huge shot to the basket.
It's definitely a blast. And I actually like Tim's play to get to the flat so you have way better footing. The uphill run-up going for your second shot is really challenging, and Adam doesn't seem to care about that. He's blasted this thing.
That's very trusted, and that's going to work out awesome. He's going to have a semi-short distance left for his birdie.
Alex kind of taking a similar line to Tim, trying to get to a flatter spot to have an easier bit of footing to that basket.
Alex is looking to go flick here. If he can execute that, that would be pretty impressive. Same with Andrew. Those are big flicks, though. Anything up onto that slope is pushing like 400 feet off the tee.
Oh, yeah. And Tim going uphill roller. I like this. That's got to keep going and cut.
Yeah, I had thought about this play. That's really cool. He only gets to about 60 feet there, but it's a pretty safe play.
It is safe.
That's probably how he can achieve that distance, too, going uphill.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a monster flick. He needs that flex.
And with that uphill throw that you have to make, the disc automatically comes out nose up, so he just needed to get a little bit more over on it. Fade it out into the rough.
Oh, yeah, Alex. Get up.
Oh.
Man, that was left much shorter than I thought initially, and that's going to be 70 feet for birdie.
Just showing you how long this hole truly is, and now, with the basket being pushed up, you really have to think twice about where you're putting yourself in the fairway.
Yeah, no doubt. If you're not in the fairway on this hole, you're going to be struggling for that birdie 3. And Adam makes the hole look easy just because he was up the fairway, in the fairway. He had a nice short, I guess you would say short, but the flick was still playing a good 400 feet uphill. So he executed it well. He'll have 30 feet left. Tim Barham for birdie.
Oh,
sneaking it in there. What a
hands
putt.
It.
Are you kidding me? That was a good 70 feet.
Tim is a phenomenal circle 2 putter, and this is a great way to start your round.
Oh, my goodness. I just was feeling it right there. Another 65-foot putt right there in the basket. We're going to see some birdies.
This is a nice little putting clinic they're putting on for us.
Yeah.
After a few different plays on the hole, too. We had a flick from Alex. We had a flick roller or a backhand roller from Tim. And then Adam going power backhand forehand. Marwede, I think, taps into par. But 3 birdies on that. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's extremely impressive if you ask me. Adam made it look the easiest with his nice drive. Nice hole, though.
Now we move into a very much changed hole number 3. Basket position is the exact same. It's 915 feet, par 4. The real drive is trying to put it as close to this middle brim as possible. But fading out left this year is actually going to take you out of bounds. And then fading out right into the blackberry bushes is almost natural OB.
Yeah, you could say there's OB on both sides. Just like on the right side, if you don't find your disc over there, which is very likely, you also have to go to the drop zone, and that's pretty punishing. Being in bounds on this tee shot is crucial.
And Tim is going to have to go straight to the drop zone after just being out of bounds by about 2 feet. He was trying to push it aggressive with that driver. And I think
that's really aggressive, too. Leaving it that high definitely makes you get more distance, but also brings in this out of bounds that Adam has found. Oh, wait, is that
I think that was a safe call, actually. I think he threw a mid, and I think that was what helped him stay in bounds. And that's the thing with this elevation. It's really whatever disc you can put out there. Like Alex just flicked a boss again, which we're probably going to see quite a bit of, and put that exactly where you want to see it. And that's the thing. You can easily put a mid or even sometimes a putter in that same spot with how much this elevation comes into play.
Yeah, Alex is really playing his game there, and I really like that shot. This is fading out into the abyss.
And it is every bit of the word abyss. It is extremely dangerous, and you're definitely pitching out, so it's almost like an automatic stroke penalty. Sometimes, even with spotters, it's challenging to find the disc back there.
Every practice round, there were people in there looking for discs. So this is how punishing this drop zone is. Tim's throwing 3, so if he made that shot, it would be a birdie, but now he's throwing up for par. It's looking like he's going to take a bogey on this hole just because he went out of bounds. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so he sat down. He's going to be just fine. He's in the natural landing area for the hole, so he'll be approaching from where people usually approach when they're in bounds.
And another sawed-off forehand from Marwede. That's going to put him about 50 feet to the right of the basket, and he's going to have a tough putt there.
Adam off of his fortunate break to be in bounds here. Putting it a little deep. He's going to have 45 feet, though, for a birdie.
And that's the thing I found about this green in particular is it's a lot skippier, if you per se, compared to the rest of the greens on this course. I've seen quite a few big skips go deep or way right. So Alex did a great job at playing that green and sticking it right next to the pin.
Yeah, Alex went flick to the pin. That is how he drew it up right there.
And that's huge. And Tim, getting up and down from there is also going to be big. Marwede from about 45, 50.
Just low for Adam. He's got an incredibly good jump putt, so I expect to make some of those in the future. Nice solid putt from Tim. Unfortunately, that's going to be a bogey because of the OB stroke. But that's where this hole can get you. It has teeth this year, especially because of the OB on the left side and the rule that if you go OB, you're headed straight to the drop zone, which looks like an Insta-5.
Yeah, it's about 540 feet from the drop zone, so it is a smash to get up and down from there. Wow. And actually, with this added OB, the hole is actually played closer to par than it ever has, 4.12. So a birdie is definitely valuable, but again, taking a 4 like Adam just did is still going to be solid. Alex snagging a great 3, and we are going to move on to hole number 4.
Hole number 4 is an incredibly fun 2-shot hole. This is a par 4 where you're going to throw a placement shot, ideally somewhere in these trees that we're in right now, maybe just past them if you throw a great drive, and then up the hill with a straight putter shot or whatever you're left with. Sometimes it's a sidearm, sometimes it's an Anheuser. So let's see what these guys have. This is the flex play. I like this. Alex is going to play a nice forehand flex kind of into the trees, looking for some love, and he gets it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's an awesome drive. Anything on the other side of those trees is just looking straight up at the basket.
Adam trying to show the other play in this hole is a power flat to fade hyzer.
That's a good looking shot. He seemed to be a little bit left of where you might ideally want to come in, but that's perfect. That's perfectly played. You'd rather be left than right on this hole.
Yeah, there's a weird positioning in that middle grouping of trees where you have absolutely nothing. So if you are trying to play to these, like Tim is, you better believe that you have to put it exactly where you want it. Otherwise, there's some low-hanging little pines right there that make it really challenging to access the green.
Yeah, Tim is definitely going to be dealing with those low-hanging vines and tree limbs.
And then Marwede hitting the initial guardian tree that you have to either get in front of or behind.
It's still birdieable from here, but this is very tough to get up and down from.
And after a falling forehand, he actually, I think, put himself inside circle 2. And this is what I had today as well. Forehand roller play that Tim, unfortunately, was about 10 feet too far to the left and didn't have quite the look to the basket. I think we're going Big Z Luna here. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's a tough one to catch. That completely stopped where that disc was going, which was right to the pin. He's going to be looking 35 feet or so. Alex with a nice-looking roller to the backside of the green. That should be
about 30.
Should be a look at least.
Tim's just going to take a stress-free 4.
As well as Andrew. Oh, Adam gave a really nice run on that one. Unfortunately, just a couple inches to the left.
And that was a bit of a tough break on his approach. You'd think those branches he hit were a little bit flimsier, but they shut him straight down. Russell's also going to take a 4. And as short as this hole is, it's a very positioning-based hole, and if you're not in the right spot, you have to throw either some sort of trick shot, as we saw 2 of our players do, or some sort of well-executed forehand. And
yeah, it definitely seems easy when you're playing it perfectly, but right when you get a few feet out of position, it becomes very tough to salvage a 3.
Mm-hmm. And
the elevated basket and the elevated green also make it dangerous as well.
Exactly. I've seen definite rollaways on that hole, and as we complete hole 4 with 4 pars, we are going to take a quick break for one of our sponsors.
Today, we'll be talking about the Nuke. The Nuke is a wide-rimmed, fast, maximum distance driver. When throwing on a wide-open course with the Nuke, I'm using it to unleash maximum backhand distance potential. Due to its slim profile and wide rim, the Nuke also fits really well in the hand when throwing sidearms. If I'm looking to throw down some boom sauce, I'm going with the Nuke. You can pick one up at discraft.com or your local disc golf retailer.
We are moving into hole number 5, a 300-foot par 3 that has an extremely specific gap and shape that you have to hit. I think the preferred play for any righty with a forehand is to almost saw it off on purpose. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, you kind of. You definitely can't push it too far straight because it does get a little shady. Like Alex is going a little straight here, but you can find gaps going that way as he just did. Gonna make it all the way into the circle. That's a cool shot. I think forehand is definitely the play here. I play something semi-stable but glidey so that it gets that finish that we just saw with Alex.
You need to push the disc forward, and it needs to get going right away. Otherwise, you get yourself into this stuff. And there's really only a couple true gaps if you want to pure the line.
Yeah.
We see some people going over the top and playing plinko, but I really don't like that, chancing that type of shot, especially if there are gaps. Tim going with the other play, a turnover backhand that miraculously got through all the stuff, and he's got himself a circle 2 putt at the basket.
Yeah. I do know that Macbeth said that this hole last year had an extra tree in the gap, really early in the gap, that caused him to throw over, and he says that tree's gone this year, so he's throwing a turnover undertaker this year. So that's the other option of play. You might see turnover fairway, turnover mid into the gap, but it takes such a perfect line. There was only 3% park jobs on this hole. Very few people are absolutely filleting this hole, but it plays really nice. Only 16% birdie percent as well.
Adam is going to get up and down for his 3. Tim with a circle 2 putt, definitely gettable after his big putt on 2. Just off the top. Alex with a shot at birdie.
Yeah, Alex
Nails
taking
it.
advantage of this forehand hole. I really like it. Nice 2 right here.
And we've seen him all year. I mean, I'd say Alex is becoming one of the better sidearm players, on the tour. And this course, with how many left to right shots there are, I think is going to benefit him greatly.
Yeah, that's easy to agree with. He has an incredible forehand.
And looks like the players get away pretty much unscathed. Alex Russell snagging the only 2 of the hole. We got 3 pars from the rest of our players, and we move into one of the tougher scoring par 4s on the course, and it actually has a new element to it.
Yeah, definitely. So this drone footage will not show it, but or it might actually show it now. There's going to be a mando tree right around this guy that's standing here, and you have to go to the right of it. If you do not go right, you're going to be moving to the drop zone, which is a fairly routine up and down from about 250 feet. But this hole is very demanding off the tee. If you want a birdie, you must have a great tee shot.
And the tee shot needs to get to the flat. And Alex, obviously, as you can see, is going left of the mando, and he has missed it. And last year, that would have been safe, but they wanted to funnel the tee shots to this very specific landing zone. And it kind of neutralizes the hole for lefties and righties. Adam wanted to go aggressive, and he has yanked this.
Yeah, he's at least making sure that he's going to make the mando and have some kind of advancement up the fairway to not have to throw from the drop zone, but still, he's looking at a 4 from over there.
Tim has ripped a hyzer flip that's drifting right. That needs to flatten.
It's drifting right early, and it's on that hillside. That is going to be a tough up and down for birdie, but in good position for the hole. This hole's averaging just a little bit over par, so par's not bad.
And we see a third forehand slip out a little bit early for Marwede, and that's his bread and butter shot. He's going to have to get that together if he wants to put together a decent round, and he has found himself in the rough on the right side.
Not a bad out, but yeah, like you were saying, Brian, Andrew is at 1 over par right now, and coming into holes 8, 9, 10, you really don't want to be behind. These are extremely tough scoring holes, very hard to get birdies on, and especially hard to streak on. So once you get kind of out of position, it becomes very easy to lose control out here.
Tim has ripped a forehand that looks like he is rolling a little bit. That's going to sit. He should be fine, but still about 100 feet away from the basket.
Oh, yeah. Alex sidearm from the drop zone.
And you know he wants this.
Needs to scoot.
And scoot it did. He's about 25 feet from the basket. Adam's got another forehand from the rough. Wow.
That's a great looking shot. What is Adam laying there? I believe I missed one of his.
I think that was his third shot to the basket.
So looking at a par.
Yeah. Tim with what should be a pretty routine up and down has done exactly that. Stuck it right next to the basket. Alex from about 25.
A little high, and he's going to be taking a bogey because he did not get up and down from the drop zone.
Ugh. That was a big par putt, and you could tell he was definitely rattled by that one. Marwede hoping to snag this putt here, and that was a beautiful putt.
Yeah, it was.
And that's the thing about this hole, the tee shot has to be laced if you want to have a decent shot at birdie. Otherwise, you're scrambling for par, and obviously, as we've seen here, a couple bogeys. Tim taps in the safe 4.
Yes, this Mando really puts a lot of pressure on that tee shot. You have to have a good tee shot in order to have a chance at the birdie. Anything down the slope is a no good. Man, it's tough to see that. Unfortunately, now Alex is going to be taking a 6. You don't ever see him miss putts like that either.
No, and just as we were talking about him being one of the better sidearm players on tour, I would also put him up there with all the best putters too.
His putting is so awesome to watch.
Unfortunate break for Alex, taking a double bogey, Adam with the 5, and a couple of pars, which is really not that bad for the hole. We're going to move into another hole that changed this year, hole number 7.
Yeah, so hole 7 has been backed up. Last year, this was considered one of the easiest birdies on the course. All you had to do is make this gap, get into the fairway, and you're going to have an upshot just around the tree to this basket. Now we've moved up to the right about 60 feet or so, and it really stresses this tee shot. I like what they did here. Puts a lot of pressure on the tee shot. Now you either have to get very far forward, not quite far enough from Tim, like really far forward into this tree that you see here, or way far left so that you just have a straighter or a sidearm around. Otherwise, it's a tough birdie to access.
And keep in mind now, they've roped off the left side, unlike last year. So the more left you go, the closer you get to going out of bounds. But I really like that play that they're making you make a decision on. Obviously, like you said, go as far as you can or as left as you can. Otherwise, you're throwing some sort of trick shot.
Yeah, you're right. With left being OB, that also keeps you a little scared from the left side, which is where you need to be. Alex needed a gap hit right there. Luckily, he gets through.
Him and Adam are in very similar positions, unfortunately. And that is going to be a look at a par at best.
Yikes, that doesn't look good. That isn't what he needed right there. Unless it got all the way up there.
Didn't quite see. Alex from way back throwing a spike forehand.
That was a big forehand.
Wow. That is not an easy shot to execute.
No.
And Adam going roller. He still wants the birdie. And I like the way he's laid this down. That's got to stand up, though.
Never stood up. Really needed to carry a long ways to the right.
Yeah.
He threw kind of overstable, it looked like.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Kind of needed to lay down and flip right away. But he'll have an easy up and down or a potential look at the basket. Tim going with a buzz here.
This is a cool play. There are limbs up there that will drop you to 50 or 60.
Oh, that's a
if you hit him.
fantastic turnover.
He does not hit him, though. That was played super well.
Yeah. And I like that the hole change is forcing the players to do that. Tim was in a decent position, but now has to throw a sky panning anhyzer. So kudos to the designer for making a very good change on a hole that was too easily scoreable last year.
I completely agree. This hole is really nice now.
Nice little run from Alex. As you can see by the feather banners, the wind is definitely picking up. Great putt from Adam.
That was a really good putt. After his miss on the last hole, it's nice to knock down a 20-plus footer dead center. Can really do wonders for your confidence.
Oh, yeah. Tim with a birdie putt here. Easy money. He's going to get that birdie, and he's going to move into the next hole. Really great second shot from Tim. Huge, medium stability, mid-range, huge high panning anhyzer.
Yep. Ideally, you want to take some of that work off on your drive, but sometimes you just can't, and you get stuck on that hillside a little bit short, and that's the shot that you have left.
Exactly.
A big panning anhyzer. He played it really well.
Alex looking off into the distance at something, but we will move on. Birdie from Tim and 3 pars from the rest of our players. Moving into kind of an interesting par 3, hole number 8. What are your thoughts on this one, Kev?
I love this hole because it looks so simple and it seems so simple, but it's pretty specific if you ask me. I think this shot takes a very disciplined hyzer. You cannot just throw a big spike hyzer into the screen without, getting a little bit lucky. It would be possible, but really you have to keep this disc close to the treetops that are in the middle of the fairway, which would drop you, in the middle of the fairway with nothing.
And Tim's a little high, and this could be Plinko territory, which is still not bad.
No, that's a fine way to play the hole. You know, you're just kind of playing up into the top of the trees and letting it fall down. That's fine. The purest line, though, is a very, very low hyzer that sweeps in as low as you can possibly be.
Exactly, and I've seen discs hit the treetops and park themselves. I've seen discs hit the treetops and roll to 80 feet. So
yes,
that's just a risk you're willing to take. And clearly, Adam had a fantastic outcome after that hyzer. Marwede pushing it left. That's still a good line. It looks like the wind is kind of shoving it out there, too.
Yeah, the banners on the last hole were ripping. I wonder if they're feeling anything right now.
Marwede getting to about mid-range, circle 2. Should be a decently open look. Alex hoping to put this one in.
I like this line quite a bit. It was a little bit lower than the others, just over the treetops. Looks like it came in much too early, though.
Yeah, potentially a circle 2 look, but in that section back there, it's pretty tight. He does have it framed up.
Wow.
That was a fantastic run from Alex.
Yeah, it was.
Marwede from about 35.
Oh, man. 35 is a great place to be on this hole. I'd take it every round if I could put myself at 35.
Oh, sweet putt from Tim, just catching the strong side. Great birdie. Adam's going to snag himself a birdie as well.
Yeah, these are nice birdies to pick up. I consider them bonus birdies just because of how blind this hole is and how much, sometimes it takes a little bit of luck to get up in the circle and park it maybe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we move into, like you said, this middle stretch, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are, par 3s that are very gettable, but you have to execute a phenomenal tee shot to get up there. So starting off that stretch with a birdie on 8 is not too shabby whatsoever.
Yeah, one thing I will add is when you're really chasing birdies on these holes too, they also become very difficult. You can leave yourself with a little bit of extra meat on the bone that you wouldn't have wanted to have, and it's for par all of a sudden, and that becomes very tough. You can find yourself taking bogeys like that.
And hole 9 is, pretty much every bit of what you just said. You have a 425-foot par 3 uphill low ceiling. So righties are going to try to flex something straight at the basket, but most of the time you'll see shots go a little bit too high and hit those branches. We're not going to see too many big numbers here, but a birdie is definitely going to put you ahead of people.
That's right. Birdie is picking up strokes on this hole. Last year they actually had this tee box backed up 50 or 60 feet, so it was even tougher, even further uphill. Less people could access. Now it's much more accessible green for the whole field. Adam throwing pretty good shot. It's going to be short right, probably 40 feet. Maybe a little bit closer if you got some love.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, it does neutralize the hole for lefties and righties. Both have to throw a low ceiling pushing shot. And I think, Marwede was so close to getting that to work out.
Yeah, once you hit that hillside, it's pretty tough to find any skip forwards.
Yeah.
So you really have to have the height on it if you want to get up in the circle.
Oh, yeah. And it looks like 3 of our players have really ended up in the same spot. Alex trying to rip a sidearm up there, which I thought is an interesting play for him.
Yeah, that's super interesting. But he has it. He has enough sidearm to get to about circle's edge, I would say.
Oh, definitely. Marwede not really having too much of a look there. Alex can definitely try to put this one in. And this hole is actually playing very close to par. 0.01 points away from playing to par, 2.99. So in my opinion, I think it's a good change from the last year. Adam nailing the circle 2 putt for birdie.
That's a great birdie to get.
Oh,
He'll
yeah.
be in the 11% of people below par on this hole. 79% of people are taking a par, and 10% are taking par or worse. I don't even think there were any 5s on this hole, so this is either a 2, 3, or 4 for you.
Oh, yeah. So Adam is going to tap out the lone birdie on the hole, I believe. Alex is going to tap out his par. And that is going to wrap up our front 9. We have a couple players at 2 down, Barham and Hams, and then we have Alex Russell and Marwede 1 down and 1 over. And we are going to catch you on that back 9. And stay tuned for that coverage.
Thank you, Central Coast, for having us out and bringing us this awesome coverage. I'm looking forward to part 2. I'll see you there.
I will see you there.